Yo, what up? Between the Game Sports, we back, man. If you don't know, this is the weekend a lot of folks have been waiting for. Official weekend of college football. There were some games last week. They call it the 0 week now, which is really weird. But official weekend of college football jumps off, and we had to get right into it. Orange Bowl, the Orange Blossom Classic. I got the stadium in the background, the Hard Rock Stadium down there in Miami. That's where the game is going to kick off at between Jackson State and FAMU. A lot of storylines with this, so we wanted to jump in on this topic. Appreciate the early birds that are here. Make sure you comment. Let me know where you're from. I think I saw a comment the other day. He was already asking Theodore Roberts. He said, will there be a reaction show for the game? Most definitely, man. If you followed us last year, or if you don't know, if you haven't heard about this, every Jackson State game that I'm free, I try to do a live reaction to that game, whether it be play-by-play, whatever the case may be. I try to do a live reaction to that game. So Sunday, it's going down 2 p.m. I can't wait. We're going to get it in. Last year, we had a lot of fun with those games. We used to get up to about 1,000 people sometimes. Almost got to close to 2,000 folks joining in and cheering on for their respective teams. All those good things. And shout out to G Chops Brown. Virginia's in the building, 757. That's what's up, man. One of my college teammates is from that area, D.C., Virginia area, man. So shout out to to VA. But, man, if y'all haven't not been following this crazy stories with these teams between Jackson State and Florida A&M, let's start with Florida A&M. They got a lot of turmoil going on over there with ineligible players. I think it was up to like 18. Somebody in the comments, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was like 18 ineligible players in that situation. They got problems with the administration. They got problems with the president. Last week, they go out and they don't have enough players, and they have a scheduled game against University of North Carolina out there in Chapel Hill. And there were a lot of players who did not want to go to that game. And turns out a lot of those dudes were absolutely right in not going to that game. And they weren't coerced. I read some reports that Coach Willie Simmons kind of gave them a pros and cons thing to the game. But there were a lot of guys on that team that did not want to make that trip, and understandably so. And they go out there, they put up a pretty decent effort. I think they ended up losing by like 32 points. The quarterback, Jeremy Mimosa, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I know it's Moussa. I want to say it's Mimosa. Something. He goes out there, he has a pretty decent game. His quarterback rating was through the roof. He only throws one interception. I believe he had 2 touchdown passes. He was like 18 of 24, something of that nature. So they go out there, undermanned, undersized, and they give a pretty decent effort, but it just wasn't enough, right? I think they lose by like 32 points, something of that nature. But when you go and you have 19 ineligible players on your team, that's a very tall task to go out there and compete at any level, right? At the D1 level, D2, D3, NAIA, when you're missing a majority of your key guys, it's very hard to go out there and compete. Then you going up against a school that plays in the ACC. They're playing at home. It's the first game of the season, right? I'm looking at it right now. The final score is 56-24. So it was a 32-point loss. The quarterback went 28 of 38 for 279 yards, 2 TDs, and only 1 interception. So very impressive outlook by them guys. Dad's in the building. What up, Dad? Hope Jargon's in the building, man. I sent you the link, man. So if you're going to jump in, go ahead and jump in. I sent you the link. And for those who are here early, I'm going to kind of go through my little spiel here. Then I will put the link up in the comments. But, yeah, Florida A&M, they lose a couple of key guys, right? Guys to injury. That's really tough. You at the J. Oh, yeah, you got Labor Day weekend, so you're probably going to be rough. for you getting in on this thing. They lose some offensive linemen, right? That, and I read the reports that there were guys who had to switch over and play new positions because the guy that plays in front of them was not able to compete, was ineligible, or whatever the case may be. So they lose some guys through injury and all of these things against a game that a lot of those kids did not want to go play in the first place. And when you're a head coach like Willie Simmons, man, you know he's going to support his guys. He was in a lose-lose situation. I'll put it like this. And the reports are that they were playing the guaranteed games. For folks who don't understand, the guaranteed games, these big schools, the Power 5 schools, they pay these lower-tier schools money. That's why they call guaranteed games money games. And the reports are it was almost $400 and something thousand that if FAMU did not go play this game, they were going to be held liable to pay North Carolina that money back. So when you're a coach like Willie Simmons and you put in that position, what are you to do? I'll ask this for anybody that's in the comments. What are you to do? How do you get over that and get over that hump when you want to ride with your players? But then again, you got administrator, you got the president, you got all these folks who are wanting to go to play the games. And I read one report that the president or the interim AD or whatever it may be was already down in Chapel Hill before the team even left. That makes some crazy thoughts, right? That means that he didn't really care what was happening with the players in his program. He was going down there to get that guaranteed money, and of course the money goes a long ways, almost $500,000. Hard to pass up. But when you got players that are ineligible, you got guys who are expected to play who weren't expecting to play off the rip. It's very, very hard for those guys to get over that hump. And again, they lose by 32 points. Wasn't a bad showing. The quarterback did well. The running game couldn't get off the ground. Again, 2 offensive linemen got hurt during that game. And one of them was because of a guy, Coach Willie Simmons said this himself. This guy had to move positions the day of, play a different offensive lineman position, and he ended up hurting himself because his body wasn't used to being in a certain position. It happens, those freak injuries. But if this game was not played, more than likely they don't lose their offensive lineman. And I'm trying to find the guy. What's his name? His gracious name is Brian Crawford. Brian Crawford and Cesar Reyes, 2 offensive linemen. You never want to lose anybody, but offensive linemen are a very rare commodity to have. So these are the guys who make everything work for you. Your running game, your passing game, all these guys protecting your quarterback, the blitzes and all these things. So FAMU going into this weekend is at a very, very they have a hill to climb, let's say. And then we can throw it over to Jackson State. Jackson State has all the hoopla behind them. They have everybody want to tune in and watch. They're probably going to break a viewership record this weekend for the Orange Blossom Classic. Probably going to be crazy. It's Sunday. It's the day before Labor Day. Everybody's off. Everybody's going to want to see Jackson State, what they have with Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, Shiloh Sanders. I don't know if he's playing. I remember like in the summertime, they said he was hurt or something of that nature. You got Malachi Wyman. You got Mr. Rucker. You got Kevin Coleman. I already mentioned Travis Hunter. You got Aubrey Miller. I think it's Aubrey Miller. I picked him to win Defensive Player of the Year. He's coming back. All these guys are ready to rock and roll. And so the world is going to be watching to see what these guys really, really got. And you turn around Jackson, the state of Mississippi, they're dealing with, floods. The campus doesn't have water. Some of the guys are not able to take a shower. They're missing deodorant. All these little things that you take for granted is happening at Jackson State on campus. And I did a video about this maybe 3 days ago talking about this kind of stuff. Is Cordarius playing? I don't know. I haven't done a lot of my homework. I still got a couple of days. I was going to wait until the game, before the game on Sunday, to kind of see what the rosters and things are looking like. But yeah, Cordarius Davis, if that guy's out there, that's another weapon for Shedeur Sanders. QB1 is what they like to call him. It's going to be a show. Both of these teams are dealing with adversity, and like I said, Jackson State, they're dealing with, the inability to, go to their dorm rooms and take showers. And then in the video that I did the other day, if you're ever been a ball player, it's nothing like sleeping in your own bed, and you understand it, that why some guys play really, really well at home and some guys stink up the joint on the road is because it's a different feel being able to go to sleep in your own bed. Your routine is the same. All these things play a factor in a lot of folks' mindset, the players' mindset, even from the coaching staff, right? Then going on the road is a totally different aspect to go out there and perform. You're not playing in front of family and friends a lot of times. All these things play a factor. And then you throw in you getting kicked out of your dorm room by a natural cause that you have no control of. It throws you off a little bit. So mentally, these guys will have to shake it off, get ready to rock and roll on Sunday, the 2 p.m. game. The world is going to be watching. So those are my thoughts about those two teams and those aspects of how they're going to try to figure things out. I think they have the right coaches, and Coach Willie Simmons and Coach Deion, to kind of keep their guys focused, keep their guys in line, understanding the moment, understanding that, this is a chance for HBCUs and, the SWAC to be on national television, to get noticed, to get all these things. This is what they're playing for. All right, of course, both teams want to win. I'm not sure it's going to win. I'm going to do the game. I don't have any favorites. A lot of folks think, I'm pure Jackson State, but I can care less. I enjoy what's happening in HBCUs and SWAC football alike. Again, I appreciate those who are in here. Make sure you drop some comments, where you're from, all those things. If you would like to join the stream and share your thoughts, I'm going to put this up in the comments right now. Again, it's Friday. It's the official weekend of college football. Again, I stated earlier, last week was week 0. I don't know what the hell that means, man. But just copy the link for anybody who wants to join in. Just copy the link. I'll put you in the show. You can share your thoughts. What I want to see from Jackson State, I'll go to them first. I want to see the improvement of the offensive line. A lot of folks have been talking about it, that they revamped this offensive line. They've done a lot of things. They have a brand new scheme. All these things are playing in a factor. But I want to be able to see, one, can they protect Shedeur Sanders off the rip, right? There were a lot of games last year where he was basically running for his life, and a lot of that was on him. He was doing a little bit too much of, the hero ball, trying to make the big play all at once. But there were a lot of times when the ball was hiked, defenders was already in the backfield. So there were some times where Shedeur didn't have any choice but to tuck and run. And if you follow Jackson State last year, you know that they were either the dead last or second to last in sacks given up, right? The sacks allowed, right? That offensive line struggled. And I'm not trying to down these young men, because I want to try to, continue to lift up these guys in a positive way. But from a coach's mindset and, being in the locker rooms and things like that, you want these guys to perform at a high level, because that's what you recruited them for. All right? You didn't recruit them to be, average, to be okay. You recruited them because you believed in their ability to get the job done. And a lot of times last year, that offensive line group did not get the job done. It was a struggle, man. It was a struggle. All right, anybody who has questions, please put it in the comments. I'll answer to the best of my abilities. It's very, very quiet in here. Let me play some background music or something. But, I like that either. But Jackson State offensive line has to be able to get the job done in pass protection. And then I want to see if the running game can develop anything. Anything. You know, there were many, many games last year. Okay, yeah, I don't like the music. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. There were many, many games last year where the running game was non-existent. So this is why you've seen Shador throwing a lot of balls, right? This is why you've seen him having, I think he had 30 something touchdowns, so only 7 interceptions or something of that nature. All right. But the running game for the most part of the season at Jackson State, it was non-existent. These guys were not getting anything done. Santee Marshall, I can't think of the other kid's name. Somebody put it in the comments for me. Can't think of the other kid's name. But the running game, a lot of times, were non-existent. I remember one game towards the end of the season. It might have been the preview game, actually, SWAC championship game, where the running game actually did show up a little bit, right? And it created a different dynamic. So, again, new offensive coordinator, new scheme. That's what you want to see from Jackson State if you're a Jackson State fan. That's what you want to see. Now, if you're a FAMU fan, on the offensive side, again, you lose 2 starters. You want your receivers to be able to make plays. Again, you got a quarterback in Jeremy Moosa. Anybody who knows how to pronounce that, please let me know. I'm struggling with that name. Again, he had a very, very solid game against North Carolina last week. But you want to continue to see the development, right? You don't want to see if it's a fluke. And Jackson State is going to play man-to-man. A lot of times like they did last year. They let their guys play. Then you get a guy like Travis Hunter. They're going to leave him basically one-on-one a lot of times. If I'm thinking like a defensive coordinator at Jackson State, I'm probably leaving Travis Hunter one-on-one. And I'm daring quarterbacks, I'm daring other teams to challenge that kid, because if you have not seen him, if you have not heard about him, if you haven't heard about him, the kid is phenomenal, right? He has a lot of talent. He has good ball skills in the air. A while back, he had a boot on his foot. Yeah, I saw that. I believe that was at SWAC Media Day. Now, I haven't heard anything else about it, so they're probably keeping this on the hush hush. And I'm glad you brought that up. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, he was in a boot. SWAC Media Day, which was like July 18th or something of that nature. So we're a couple of weeks away, more than a month or so away from that. So they've been probably keeping that on the hush hush. We'll see on Sunday. I have not seen any reports. So if he wasn't playing, there will be a lot. There'll be a lot of shows right now talking about that. Right? Maybe besides me, if he wasn't playing, and the news had gotten out, it'd be a lot of folks. So I'm gonna bet my money that he's playing more than likely. Like, remember back in the day, John Madden used to say, like, when they say probable and then questionable, probable, it means he's probably going to play. So that's a damn good question, man. But I'm willing to bet that he's going to play. Maybe he just plays one side, but earlier in the season, off season, Coach Prime did say that the young man was going to play both sides. So who knows? But going back to what I'm saying for FAMU, I want to see my receivers being able to win those one-on-one battles, right? Because Jackson State, if you watch a lot of their film last year, they allowed their cornerbacks to kind of do their own thing, man. And the headache game, what a lot of folks like to call them, all these things. I want to see them be more of understanding the moment, not trying to go for the big hit, go for the ball, knock the ball down, whatever it may be. But FAMU, can your wide receivers win those one-on-one matchups? And if you watched the game last year, FAMU was trying to do a lot of bubble screens, a lot of slants, and they weren't able to get any separation from those Jackson State DBs last year. They pretty much put a chokehold on those young men at the wide receiver position for FAMU. And it was an ugly game. Game was 7-6. Very ugly game. Very winnable by any team last year. Don't know what the weather is going to be like this upcoming weekend. As far as out here in Texas, it's been shaky. Like at best, we've gotten rain almost every single day this week. It's been crazy. So I don't know what's going to happen out there in Florida. Florida has some tricky weather as well. These music selections they give me is god awful. I don't like any of these. I'm trying to bring a little different atmosphere, just steady out hearing my voice. But on the defensive side of things for FAMU, start with them. The preseason player of the year, Isaiah Land. That kid has a chance to play on Sundays and make a lot of money. But from what I'm reading and understanding, he's one of those ineligible players. And they wrote a letter to the dean, to the NCAA or whatever it may be. And I haven't seen any news. I've been at this all day, kind of doing my research. Haven't seen any news of them getting their their waiver sign allowing them to play. So that's a big loss when you have the preseason player of the year, led the conference, preseason defensive player of the year, led the conference in sacks last year, right ahead of James Houston. James Houston, of course, with the Detroit Lions. That's a little better. With the Detroit Lions. And, he's deported by Isaiah Land during the offseason. He was going to enter his name in the transfer portal. That was a big deal. Coach Prime came out and said, why can't you get it done here at the HBCU level? All his other things. He's changed his mind. Coach Willie Simmons got him back. And now this kid is ineligible. So that's a big blow for your defense if you're a FAMU fan. Now, if you're a Jackson State fan, you're ecstatic, right? Because when that kid's on the field, you literally have to know where he's lined up at all times, what side of the ball he's on at all times. So you're a FAMU fan, you're a Jackson State offensive lineman, you're feeling a little bitter about yourself. You're not too worried about finding Mr. Isaiah Land every single time you go out there. With that being said, a lot of times when that kind of stuff, when key players are out, you see guys tend to relax a little bit, right? Get complacent, not following the game plan, not following the scouting report. Because again, all these guys are at the Division I level. They're there for a reason. Most of the guys that are playing are on scholarship, right? So these ain't no bums, man. And I hate when folks say, man, SWAC level is this and that. And I played at Stephen F. Austin, which is in the Southland, not in the Southland anymore. They're in the WAC, Western Athletic Conference. Back when I was there, it was the Southland. And a lot of folks used to be like, and this lower level teams is crap, man. But every guy that were on that team was something in their state. We had a kid that was the 3A player of the year in his state. That's not an easy thing to do. We had 2 JUCO All-Americans, right? We had guys who were all state. We had guys who were highly ranked in the state, ranked across the country. And we were at a very small school. So when people say, man, these dudes that are at these SWAC schools, at the OVCs and all these things like that, man, these dudes are there for a reason, man. So I hate for folks to take that lightly. It's a very, very hard thing to do, playing collegiate sports and then playing at the Division I level. Man, I appreciate that like, whoever just did that, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. The more you do that, the more the show gets pushed through YouTube algorithm and all these good things. So please do so. And if you like what we do on this channel, hit the Cash App, man. Right? Hit the Cash App, all these stuff. Cash App goes into the channel, man. Like, it helped me get my microphone, my camera right. Last year, if you've been following this channel, could never get the camera right. We didn't figure some things out. So each year, each time we get on here, it's getting a little better and better. So if you like what we do, man, hit the cash up button. If anything, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to this channel. So anybody who would like to join the stream, again, just copy the link, jump in. I'm more than willing to have you on, man. I enjoy doing these things. I know it's a Friday night. I did a poll earlier this week. Folks wanted me to do it on Friday. So here we are, man. So don't be scared to get in here. If not, just ask your questions in the comments. I'll try to answer to the best of my abilities. Where was I before I went on that little rant? But yeah, next man up basically for FAMU with Isaiah Land being out. So you got to have somebody else to kind of replace them. And Jackson State offensive line cannot get complacent. They have to go out there and still follow coach's game plan, follow the scheme, all these things. The major thing that I want to see from Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback at Jackson State, him being more of decisive. Last year he was a freshman. And again, it's hard to nitpick of what the young man did last year. Again, he had 30 plus TDs, less than 10 interceptions. His QBR rating was, through the roof. Hardly any fumbles. Went undefeated in the SWAC. They lost in the Celebration Bowl. But here we are wanting more from him, and that's how you know when you're good, right? That's how you know when you're great, when the folks take your freshman season and still be like, that's not enough. That's not enough. And I'm expecting him to be even better this year. And I did a prediction video about him. I want to say he's going to be about 35 touchdowns, maybe five interceptions. I expect him to kind of not take so many chances, even though the interceptions that they had last year wasn't even crazy like that. So, but I want him to be more decisive. I want to see some quick slants. I want to see some wide receiver screens. You hardly even saw any wide receiver screens last year, but again, because the offensive line could not do their part. I want to continue to see him if he can't get anything through his first and second and third read to hit the drag route. If you watch Jackson State games last year, they had a lot of drag routes, right? Hitting my man Warren Newman, man. I'm gonna miss Warren Newman, man. That was my guy. Anybody who watched my streams last year, Warren Newman was my guy, man. Warren Newman was my guy. I think he's playing in Canada right now, so shout out to him. But he hit him a lot of times on that drag route late. If Cordarius Davis is playing, if y'all don't know who this kid is, incredible athlete out of Dallas, Texas. He's there. Malachi Wyman, another incredible athlete, plays on the basketball team as well. Mr. Rucker, I think Mr. Rucker is preseason punt return specialist. So that's a great thing to have. And then you got the Mr. Kevin Coleman, the 4-star receiver out of the Midwest, I believe. What is he going to do? How are these guys going to be able to get the ball? Everybody that's a wide receiver, you want the ball every single time. Shedeur Sanders being able to keep all these guys happy is going to be very, very important. The offense coordinator keeping all these guys happy because all of them are going to want the ball. They're all playmakers. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with some of this stuff, man. Maybe we see some wide receiver reverses this year. Maybe we see some jet sweeps. All these things can be put into the playbook. I'm excited to see what the offense is going to look like at Jackson State. It's going to be crazy. And they were good last year, right? But they could be better. As good as they was last year, they could be absolutely better. And it's scary with so many weapons that they have on that offensive side of the ball. Again, I appreciate the late stragglers, man. We got some stragglers coming in, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button for me if you're on Facebook. If you are on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. hit the thumbs up button, hit the bell button to get those notifications when we go live. And if you really like what we do, man, hit the cash app, man. I appreciate it. So I'm excited for Sunday. If y'all want me to do the game on Sunday, put a thumbs up or a heart in the comments. I'm gonna try to do it. That's my plan. Gonna try to do it, man. And again, every game last year I tried as my best to do a Jackson State game. This year I'm gonna try to do more than just Jackson State, right? More than likely Saturday, tomorrow, I'm going to do the Prairie View A&M and Texas Southern game, Labor Day Classic. Been going on for ages. TSU has a preseason second team guy, and Mr. Andrew Body. Can he lead his guys over PV? And PV lost a lot. They lost their coach. They lost a couple of key defensive players that went with their coach over to Southern. PV won their side of the SWAC last year. Can they get off to a high start? So more than likely, I'm gonna do that game. So, one thing I did not talk about with Jackson State, and again, it's not a Jackson State stream. I spoke about FAMU. You watched a lot of Jackson State games last year. The penalties. I mean, my God, the penalties were unbelievable with Jackson State last year. And every penalty is a drive killer. Right? You never want to be too far behind the chains, right? As the coaches will say. You never want to be too far behind the chains. I had to turn it down, clear myself. But some of the Jackson State penalties last year were to the point where they were just ultimate drive killers. You would see a big play on third down, on a 3rd and 7. Shadur completes a pass to whoever it may have been. Newman, Malachi Wyman. I can't think of my kid, the guy from Galveston. Oh, my God. Hey, his name. He'll complete a pass to one of those guys. Get a big play. Get the first down. And then you look up and you see the referee getting ready to come make a call. There's a flag that's happened. And they were ultimate drive killers. It happened a lot. It happened in the Celebration Bowl game against South Carolina State. Crazy stuff. Which they got their butt kicked, all right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They got their butt kicked. But in that game, there were a lot of penalties on the offensive side and the defensive side that cost them to be in situations where now you're trying to have that bend, don't break mentality, especially on the defensive side of things. So I don't know who was going to win this game again. If you're just not joining the stream, we spoke about the adversity that both of these teams are facing upcoming this weekend with FAMU. They have the ineligible players. They have guys who are hurt because ineligible players weren't playing. Jackson State is dealing with flood water, dealing with, the campus being shut down. You're dealing with guys moving off campus to, different apartments, trying to find water, all these things. And if you've never been a part of a flood or a hurricane, it wears on you mentally, man. You can't do a lot of things that you want to do. I'm hearing that Jackson State wasn't even practicing and some things like that. So all this is coming in, and you got your very first game of the season coming up this weekend, and you got to deal with, displaced from your dorm room. You got to deal with not having water. FAMU is over there dealing with guys who they don't know if they're going to be eligible either 1 minute, not eligible the next minute. They're dealing with the president, the interim president. All these things are crazy. So shout out Kevin Pride says FAMU is not down to only 8 eligible. So great news for them. All right, great news. Kevin Pride, do you know if Isaiah Landis is part of that group who is now eligible? Right? Because if I remember correctly reading that he was included in that group of guys who were not eligible to play. So, and I know they sent off a letter to the NCAA. For anybody who don't know anything about the NCAA is a I want to say it. But I ain't gonna say it. NCAA is kind of kind of like mob type, kind of mobbish, man. Like they run things crazy, man. So yeah, hope Dragon hit that like button. Isaiah Lamb will play. Shout out to man. So he's gotten his. Whew. So when a kid like that again. I'm gonna go back to what I was thinking. Hope Jargon says crooked. Yeah. So there you go. Right. That's what I was trying to get at. I'm glad you said it. But Isaiah Lamb being cleared. So when you have a guy like that, preseason defensive player of the year, ineligible, and he doesn't get a chance to play last week against North Carolina, which is a game that he probably had circled on his calendar for 2 or 3 years, right? If you don't know, a lot of these games are scheduled in advance. He has a chance to go play against an ACC opponent, showcase his skills, and he doesn't get a chance to play. And then now the very next game, he's cleared, and he gets to play against Jackson State, which the world is waiting to watch, right? And it's just not black folks who are waiting to watch this game. There's going to be a lot of eyes tuned in on this game, man. Trust me. The PWIs, right, the Power 5 schools, if they're not playing, it's going to be a lot of folks watching this game to see what all the hype is about. It's going to be a lot of folks to see what the hype is about, and they're going to be a lot of folks who wanted to see the downfall of Jackson State, right? But I believe both of these teams are going to go out there, put on a great football game. A great, great football game. And then again, this is FAMU's second year in the conference. They had a chance to win the conference last year if they could beat Jackson State on the very first game last year. 7-6. I think they ended up Jackson State ended up winning the conference by 2 games at least over FAMU on that side of the ball, or that side of the division conference. So this game right here has very, very important implications off the rip, man. Very, very important implications off the rip. Whoever wins this game can literally control their own destiny, man. And that's the crazy thing about college football. Kevin Price says BJ is now eligible as well. So these FAMU are getting their guys back at the right time. And is it a little bit too late, right? When you're ineligible, right, you don't get as many reps and practice as the guys who are, because if you're a coach, you have to prepare for those guys who are not able to play, like they're not able to play. Like you have to get the guys the reps, the guys who are eligible to play. You have to get those guys those reps so things can go smoothly, right? So you're planning. Coach Willie Simmons, he's probably been planning all week not to have Isaiah Lamb, not to have BJ and all these guys. So is it a little too late, right? But I think Isaiah Lamb is going to be foaming at the mouth, right, to get a hit on Shedeur, right, to cause a turnover, right, to be the playmaker that he is. And again, if y'all have not seen this kid play, he has a very, very high chance of playing on Sundays in the near future, right? Great, great kid, right? He has all the tools, right? Good with his hands. He's able to get off the blocks, all these things. So Coach Willie Simmons has got to be ecstatic, man. But again, he did lose some offensive linemen in that North Carolina game. Excuse me, my back hurt. Back is hurting. Did lose some guys in a game that a lot of kids who did not want to play. And, man, I'll tell you this. I've done AAU basketball for 10, 11 years, something of that nature. And it's nothing like going to a game when you know your kids do not want to play. You know, on Sunday mornings, AAU is, Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Sunday morning, you know that most times that your kids are checked out. And some of the kids will straight up tell you that they don't want to be there. Some of the kids will straight up tell you, man, it says lost two linemen last week for you. Yeah, I saw that. FAMU would dress 11 offensive linemen. So it's a great luxury to have that many old linemen, but you want your guys that you have planned in your head as a coach before the season even starts. You want your guys in place to get the things done. All right. So again, you lose two offensive linemen in a game where the kids didn't even want to play. One kid said, I'm gonna go quote for quote. This kid name is Brian Crawford. He said that he felt that he was tricked out of my spot for real. I didn't really appreciate that. Crawford told the US Today, he said, I felt like I put my body on the line to make a few dollars for the university. And if I've been doing that for 5 years, the kid had a pectoral strain, and Coach Willie Simmons says that he's out, for the foreseeable future. How do you as a coach, deal with that, man? Like, here's a kid who's giving his all to you for 4 or 5 years, and he comes out with a statement like that, basically saying that the university decided to go play in the game because of the money. That's just the bottom line to it, because of the money. And he comes out with this statement, and Coach Willie Simmons now has to not only deal with the kid being injured, not only deal with the AD, interim president, all these things. Now you got to deal with his teammates understanding what this young man is saying. And now you got to try to keep your kids, your team, the players that you chose to be a part of your program, you got to try to keep them together, knowing that there are going to be a lot of guys feeling the same way that Mr. Crawford is, but not going to speak up on it, right? And then a lot of guys show it more with their actions. So as Coach Willie Simmons, he has to probably try to keep it together, man. You got to keep his guys together, and it's Mom is in the middle and going to be a great, entertaining, positive, rewarding season for all the teams. Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting season in the SWAC. Kevin Price says move the DE to O lineman. It's crazy. Yeah, like, come on, dog. Like, when you play defense, especially in football, when you play defense, the defensive line, you kind of understand what an O lineman does, but you don't know it until you get into the trenches of it. Oh my God, man. And my man Hope Jargon says, and they are smart to play for the money. Yeah, you almost $500,000. Let me go look for sure. Let me go make sure that it was nearly $500,000. Your school is getting almost $500,000. I can't find it. How do you pass that up? How do you pass up almost $500,000? So I understand from the business mindset. Yeah, $450,000. They got $450,000 for one game. Appreciate you, Kevin. Yeah, $450,000, man, from UNC. One game. And yeah, they lost by 32 points. Not a bad showing for a team that's in the ACC. First game of the year, they're playing at home. Not a bad showing. And you're missing a lot of your key guys. Not a bad showing. You got $450,000. And this is why I tell folks, and Mr. Crawford, I'm gonna say this to you if this ever gets to you, Brian Crawford. If this ever gets to you, somebody wants to show you, understand the NCAA and universities with sports is a pure business, man. They approach it with a business mindset. They're going to take the over 9 times out of 10 than the under, man. Money talks, and it's going to forever talk. And unfortunately, from the business side of things, you're looked at as a recruit, a number, whatever number you might be 65. You just looked at number 65 on the field. They don't really care that you got hurt because again, there's 50 other guys on the roster, and their mindset is next person up. We're gonna go play in this game. From a player standpoint, from when I play, I understand what he's saying because you do put your mind, body, soul on the line because you chose to do this, especially when you're on scholarship. You're trying to get out the hood, whatever it may be. It's the only way you can pay for college classes, all these things. You're gonna go out there and give it your all, and then when you get hurt, a lot of times the university are basically just gonna say next guy in, man. It just is what it is. Hope Jorgen says can't listen to 20-year-olds' logic of how things work. Shout out to my guy Bankhead. Got to get your groove on. Yeah, man, you got to get your groove on. Hope Jorgen says it's an entertainment business. Always was, always will be. We've said this on numerous occasions. Student athlete, no such thing. You're an athlete at a university, and you just happen to be a student, right? Yep, I read that if FAMU did not play, lawsuits would have happened with all these, with UNC, the ACC network, all these things playing play. FAMU would have been out $1 million, like you said. So, as the president and the interim AD, you have to look at the money. You have to follow the money. It sucks, but for anybody who's not understanding, it's right here in your face. College sports is a legit business, man. They make billions of dollars a year. Don't let them fool you, man. You see that during the football games, and they say, and for every field goal kick, Aflac is giving whatever this is stuff. The NCAA can easily give that amount of money away themselves and still have a plethora of dollars left, man. Don't let these guys fool you, man. Me and my guy Hope Jorgen played in it. We know now that we're older, we understand the business concept of these things, man. He says exactly. Kevin Boys think money falls out the sky. These contracts are serious. Yeah, you better honor that contract, man. You better honor that contract, all right? And I'll reach another quote. It's from the ACC athletic director. He said something of the nature. I don't want to misquote him. Good Lord, I can't find it. But basically, he said that. Oh, this is what he said. He said, I spoke with FAMU AD Michael Smith many times before, during, and after the trip to Chapel Hill. He said all our conversations were about how we could support and assist them during their travel. We never discussed anything about financials. That lets me know that guy wasn't even trying to hear anything about the financial fallout of this thing. You guys better show up and you better play, or our school, our conference, our TV network is gonna handle it from there. So he wasn't worried about FAMU having 19 ineligible players. He could care less. That lets me know from that quote right there, he could care less what was happening at FAMU. FAMU was just a team that happened to be on the schedule, man. So pure business, man. I know we kind of got away from the topic at hand. Anybody who has any questions, please do so. And again, if you would like to join this chat, the link is in the comments. Just scroll up a little bit. Actually, I'll put it back up on the screen. Just copy and paste. It's the same link for YouTube, Facebook, and we've added Twitch. We've added Twitch to this thing. So, but a guy I didn't really talk about is Mr. Aubrey Miller. He's the Isaiah Land of Jackson State. Well, he's Aubrey Miller. He's his own man. So I don't want to do that to him. He's his own man. I picked this guy to be Defensive Player of the Year. I think he has a little bit of what it takes uh, to control a game, to be a game changer. Um, with James Houston leaving, I think he's taken it upon himself to say, "Hey, what we had with James Houston, that was great, right?" But I think he wants to build his own legacy because JH4, whew, what a show he put on last year off the rip. So I believe Aubrey Miller is going to be a dominant force this upcoming season, and it's going to start with the game on Sunday. Yeah, man, I appreciate the late stragglers, man. I know some of y'all probably just getting off work. Y'all asked me to do this, so I'm doing it. Make sure y'all hit that like button if you're on Facebook, thumbs up button. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, bell button, all those good things. But Aubrey Miller, he's 6'4", 6'5", 240, 250. You look at him like, my God, big, strong, fast, sideline to sideline. What role is he going to play in Jackson State's defense? I don't know who the captains are, man. I follow the team. I follow all these teams like that. But with stuff I do for work, it doesn't allow me to do a lot of research like that. And shout out to Kev. What up, Kev, man?
What's good, brother? How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing? What's going on?
Any day above dirt's a good day, my brother. So I'm above dirt, so it's a blessed day.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. I be seeing you, man. You be on Instagram. You be on your workouts and stuff. Like, man, dude, I need to get back out there.
Yeah, man. You know, we get into that oil change years. You gotta keep it together. So,
Yeah.
don't mean I love it, but it's a necessary evil.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I say I do your work, so that was my mind be like, well, you did enough outside today, so
Right.
yeah. Yeah. So go ahead, man. What you got for us?
Well, again, I think this game, and it's kind of unfortunate. You mentioned it earlier, kind of like the adversities both schools are going through. One school is going through a citywide situation, laced with racism, with water, and in that situation, and then FAMU is going through an administration thing where I think the leaders of FAMU have they failed. They failed their players. Let's just call
Yeah.
it what it is. I mean, I heard Roland Martin the other day kind of going in on FAMU, and rightfully so. They need to hear it. And I'm
Yeah.
hearing that over the last couple of days, President Robinson and I guess the hierarchy at FAMU have tried to right that ship. They're probably bringing in 5 compliance managers with 2 assistants. So something that should have been done, when they started bringing in transfers. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have played ball, you and hoop. I played college. When you bring in transfers, you realize that different schools have different academic regimen. You understand that you have to know what the credits are. This is nothing. You got to go through the clearinghouse. This is nothing new. And if a university, and again, remember, we talk about HBCU, but these are Division I programs.
Yep.
So as a Division I program, you got to know that. So when you drop that ball, when you got one person handling hundreds of athletes, when you got transfers and credits and all, I mean, listen, let's talk about the game though, because we can get on the politics all the way. But I like Jackson State in this game. I think FAMU, even through all the adversity last week, played really well. That first half, Musa played really good at quarterback, and they held their own. I think Willie Simmons, to me, who's a great football coach, came in with a nice game plan, and even with the limited talent, limited offensive linemen, they were able to compete in the first half. Just the war of attrition caught up to them in the second half. Jackson State, to me, is the class of the SWAC, a team that I think is kind of an embarrassment of riches. When you talk about the scholarship limits FCF schools have and what Jackson State is doing, where guys are having to leave. The kid from Miami he just left because I can't get on the field. I think obviously Travis Hunter had the ankle injury most of the summer. He's back. I don't know how much they're going to play him. You want to be smart with that type of talent. Kevin Coleman, I think, is going to have a great game. And I think, I really believe that, Aubrey Miller and that group will pick up. I mean, again, it's a lot of question marks because there's a lot of new pieces, but the talent is there, and I think Jackson State's going to win the game.
Yeah, I did the game last year, man, and it was an ugly game. Ugly game. 7-6. It was rainy.
Yeah.
Nobody can kind of get their footing. And again, I don't know what the weather is like. I haven't looked at the weather report for Florida this upcoming weekend. If they're getting anything like we're getting in Texas, it's kind of might be the same thing. But
Right.
I think that Shador with the another year under his belt, I think you're going to see him just kind of progress through his reads and understanding the moment. And again, I feel like his father has prepared him for these moments because,
Right.
you're the son of Deion Sanders. Like everyone's going to know who you are. Then you're going to play the quarterback position. Like
Right.
you have to know. So I think this kid is built for it. He's mentally.
He's been groomed. He's been groomed for this.
Groomed for it. So with him knowing that the world is going to be watching Sunday afternoon, there's no NFL football going on. I don't know what other games are going on at the time, but I think he has a little bit of showman in him as well. So I think he's going to put on a show and just excel. And again, can those wide receivers, which I think they can because they pretty much did it all last year. They were so cut above everybody else in the conference as far as wide receivers to DBs. I think those wide receivers can win one-on-one matchups at any time they want.
Right. No, I mean they're talent heavy. Obviously, again, Brent Bartolome, new offensive coordinator. So while we perceive, because we break it down and go, okay, you got talent here and there, you got a lot of transfers. Defense, you Greg Great and these guys, the kid Dole from A&M, Texas A&M. Yeah. You got embarrassment of riches, but again, it is a first game. You haven't done it, so the question mark is there. I just really believe that the talent will supersede. The water situation being displaced, if you ever been displaced, like you mentioned, hurricane or flood or fire, it is an adjustment. I don't care who you are. I know they went to a hotel, but I think, again, sometimes being a little younger, being kids, having a presence like Deion Sanders that could, through means or through, different measures can kind of right the ship a little bit to kind of get you focused. I think, obviously, they spent the last 2 days in a hotel in Mississippi, I guess, that had facilities. They flew down. So I think that the further they get away from that, they'll deal with it a little better. There might be an issue next week, but I don't think it'll be an issue for game time. I truly believe the situation at FAMU is much more of a burden on the players because sometimes, again, we've all been young and we've all, had people that we looked up to or were people who are about helping us in our endeavors. And if somebody lied to you, it's hard to get that back. They're trying to make it right now, but listen, you lied. You let us down. And I feel bad for Willie Simmons because he's the head coach. So, yeah, you say all leadership, right? And I heard earlier this week that they tried to throw him under the bus. What can this guy do? This guy's coaching a football team. He can't do everything. Yeah, should Willie had maybe knocked on a door and said, yo, is Land's grades good? I get that, but you can't. You have an organization. You have a machine of people. Everybody's got to carry their weight. And, but again, I think the game will be a great game. It's a highlight game, a 3:00 game on ESPN2. There's no other college football playing that time. I think Florida State plays LSU Sunday night. But at that time period, if you want to watch football, that is the game. That is the only game in town. So I think the beauty of what Prime has done and what some of these other schools have done in the HBCU space has made other people who may or may not have looked at HBCU football sports before start to pay attention, which I truly love and appreciate. And I think hopefully it'll be a great game. I mean, I think it's going to be a Jackson State win. I think Jackson State will win 28-17. But I think, Lawrence, it's a game where it highlights the best of HBCU football, put all the politics aside for at least a couple hours and have a great game. I'm excited to watch it. I was going to try to get down, but I got to go to LA next week on business. And I'm like, it's just too much traveling. I ain't Stephen A. Smith.
Too much. I want to go to a Jackson State game at Jackson, but I can't, man. I live in Dallas now, so we got in 2 weeks we got TSU Southern up here.
Yeah.
We have October 1st. You have PV Grambling here.
Yeah. The world, right.
And then I have November 5th or something like that. Jackson State plays at TSU. I'm from Houston.
I'm gonna try to get that. I'm gonna try to get to that game. I got some peoples out in Houston, and that's a great little trip. You know, I don't need many excuses to go to Houston.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to get to that game. Andrew Body is a flat out beast.
Yeah.
And they're gonna surprise some people too. I think people are kind of sleeping on TSU, and why I think they're maybe a year away. They're gonna make some noise in that West.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting again when you got Coach Dooley leaving. Of course, PD is returning a lot of key guys too, but you have a new coach and Coach Bubba McDowell, and you losing. It's I don't know if that's the first. That might be the first time you lose a coach after winning your conference, like your side of the conference. It's crazy.
Yeah. They lost Dumas too. Remember that?
Yeah, and he went over there with him.
He went to Southern, right?
Yeah. Went with him. So that game is tomorrow, the Labor Day Classic, which I'm probably going to try to do. Just all these new things that's happening. I interviewed Butch Alcindor. Does a lot of the SWAC games.
Mm-hmm. Voice of the SWAC.
Voice of the SWAC. He's doing that game tomorrow, and he's told me. He said, "Don't be surprised about what TSU puts out on the field this year." And I'm intrigued to watch it.
Yeah, offense personified, man. I think again, yeah, bodies. And if you go into that game, you're in for a treat. I really think he's, you think about again, obviously he was a big time high school recruit. Didn't really get heavily recruited because of the size, but again, he can flat out swing it. And when you see guys on the next level like the Russell Wilsons and the Drew Breeses, they're not Kyler Murrays, and not the typical NFL size. The more those guys keep doing it, and obviously the hue they're in helps a guy like Andrew Body. So sophomore kid, I think again they're 1 year away from really taking that next step in the SWAC, but they are going to be exciting to watch, and they're gonna surprise some people.
Yeah, I think so too. Shout out to Kenneth, man. Kenneth says FAMU. What was your prediction? You said 28-17. So anybody who has, I did this last year. Anybody who comes close to that, to the closest score, I would send them a free T-shirt. I make T-shirts.
That's a nice shirt. So,
so
give me an extra large ready, cause
gotcha. I always do that, man. So anybody who comes correct, close, within 10 points. No. 10 is kind of too vague. I might do 7. I'll see on Sunday. But you got 28-17. I'm gonna mark that down.
11-point spread. Yeah,
11-point spread. So that is, all these things are interesting. I want to see what are your thoughts about, can FAMU's wide receiver core, show anything against Jackson State DBs? Again, Jackson State played a lot of basically, hey, can you beat us? Basically.
Well, the one thing about Dennis Thurman run defense, he's going to go after the quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. Now, again, I mean, people are talking how great Musa played last week, and he did. He played a great game, and they had a great game plan. But UNC played a very vanilla defense as well. I mean, we're not talking about that a lot either. They played a lot of base, and, again, you play base, there's going to be some holes there on the inside. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen on Sunday. You're going to have a press situation where now will Musa have enough time to make those passes? He's not going to be able to sit there and really, maybe hit his second progression. Obviously, Jackson is loaded in the secondary. It's one of their strong points. But we know FAMU has O-line issues. Like I put in the box, they got a DM plan. I don't know what I don't know what. I just heard that today, from credible sources. So we know that's a chink in the armor. So if you got a chink in the armor, I don't have time to look for my receivers. I got a one lock because I got pressure coming. So I just think that they're gonna have to find a different way. I think FAMU having Land back will be phenomenal for them, because at least Land will be able to pressure. Again, he's quick off the wing, I think that's Jackson State's issue last year too. Now they've said they've upgraded the old line, but we don't know. So we only go by what we know, what we saw. So that was a weak spot. So I think that's where they can help. And I think FAMU, in my opinion, needs to play more ball control football. I don't think they can get in the shootout with Jackson State because I don't think they have the horses up front. Because again, if you're going to try to throw that rock, you've got to protect the quarterback.
Yeah, this damn near almost any team in this region that can try to keep up with Jackson State in the shootout, man. That'd be like Kansas City going to play the damn New York Giants and the Giants trying to come out here and compete with them, man. You're going to lose that battle every time. Shout out to Aaron Sanders. Welcome back, my guy. He says, Land was MIA against a bad JSU line last year. Debo and Willis Patrick will take care of. Land Warrior was killed by Rucker last year, 38-10. So he has a blowout.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't really knock Aaron on that. It could get ugly, if Jackson State jumps on them early. Obviously you're gonna have some rust with JSU because they didn't play last week. Even though FAMU had all the adversity, they still played, so they got some of that rust off. Now you bring in these players, you bring in guys that will need a star guys. Mentally, it will help them. We'll give them a boost because again, like you see as Isaiah Land in that green and orange, you feel good about yourself. Like, all right, we competed last week, and now we got this guy. So from a mental standpoint, it'll be great. But if Jackson jumps on them early, and now it's like, oh man, now the doubt creeps in because again, you look around and you still have some deficiencies. But FAMU, if they come out early and score early, or at least keep the momentum and control the tempo of the game, it could be a situation that helps them long term. But if Jackson gets on them early, it could be a blowout.
Yeah, either way, that's basically what South Carolina State did last year. They kept the game close and they forced Jackson State to have some mistakes that they weren't used to having, and then things kind of the bottom fell out on them. Mellow Madness Radio Show. Tony Williams, that's a long name. I guess my name is long too. FAMU has depth now with the boys being back and the wide receivers are top notch. So, again, you got to win that battle, man. Jackson State is
with those old linemen, though. I mean,
Jackson
again,
State is deep. Yeah. If your guys are not open, you can't throw the ball to them. So,
and if your quarterback's running for his life,
I'm hearing that Niles Gaddy, and I did a video. About him, he was like my top 5, reasons why Jackson State will win the SWAC again. And Niles Gaddy, I think he has the size. I've heard he's bulked up a little bit. He has very, very long arms. He has a chance to be very disruptive. Good Lord, get it out.
Yeah.
So with him and Miller and those boys ready to rock and roll, I think
he's got something to prove. If you go back to SWAC Media Day, Coach Prime wasn't even guaranteeing that Gaddy would start. So when your head coach, and again, I give Coach Prime a lot of credit for that. Sometimes you got to light a fire. So, certain guys, again, these are kids. We're talking about 18 to 22-year-olds. And sometimes when people tell you how great you are and what you're doing and everybody loves you, you forget to keep that dog in you. So somebody's got to keep that foot on your neck, because if they don't, it's easy to get, complacent. That's what happened in Celebration Bowl. I mean, taking on against Buddy Pugh's fantastic coach. A kid I used to coach played for Buddy Pugh, so I know how they get down to South Carolina State. But the reality is that Jackson felt like they had a coronation happening, and they got surprised because they had a team there, a bunch of dogs, and didn't really care about the Instagram videos or the Barstool documentary. They came in to play ball, and they got their punt. They got smacked in the mouth. Might have been the best thing that ever happened to Jackson State, because even Prime, everybody got humbled in that situation, and they all came back a little hungrier. So I think, again, you're going to see that because you hear the mentality, and I know people laugh at it, the dominate mentality. But, again, we're talking about mental telepathy with young players. You guys play ball. If everybody's saying the same thing and keeping that same thing, you got nothing but to believe it. That's why that I believe statements become a mantra, because they keep saying it. It's conditioned. And again, if you practice hard and you do the things you got to do, and you got talented guys that can't make the cut, so you got to earn your spot every day, that carries over to games. Lou Holtz once said, if I'll beat you up in practice, but the games are easy. If I go through practices and the practices are hell, game time is simple because I already been through it. I already been through the Shawshank. So the game is fun. So I think again that's what's happening with Jackson State, and again, FAMU's going to compete. They got some great players back. They're probably feeling good about themselves. But again, Kenneth says 12. But again, I think Jackson State will win the game, and if they jump on them early, it could get ugly. But I got, like I said, I don't think they'll do it that much. I think 28-17 is realistic for me.
Yeah, all the things you just said about, man, college practice was still to this day the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, man. Like it was
ain't no unions in college.
It was just brutal, man. Like even like Christmas break in a small collegiate town. There's nobody there but you and the coaches, the team, and there was no limit on practice time.
Yeah.
Like we would be. Oh my god, I don't even want to talk about it. It brings back, got PTSD, man.
The Junction Boys.
Huh? Yeah, exactly. Bobby D, Blazing Game says, very good show, guys. Landing that defense won't be enough for the gauntlet of depth of JSU will show on Sunday. JSU by 14, 28-14. Okay.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Mellow Madness says 31-24. Trust me on that. I want my shirt too. Yeah, man. Closest person to the score gets a t-shirt. I'm good for it. Only one guy last year. It took me like 2 months to get him my shirt because my machine broke.
Right.
And it was like, but everybody else who won, I got it to him within a week and a half. So I'm good for it, man. Just make sure when you get it, take a picture, post it on social media.
But Game, I appreciate the time, man. You guys do a great show. You and Hoop, I appreciate y'all. I rock with y'all. I'm gonna hit you on the DM. I got something I want to talk to you about with your brand and some of the things I'm doing network wise. I think that could be a benefit to you guys. So salute to everyone. It's been fun. Enjoy the games this weekend, man. And again, like I said, go HBCU football, man. That's what it's all about.
There you go, man. Appreciate you dropping through. Yeah,
yes,
I'll be
sir.
looking forward.
Salute.
Yep.
I'll be in touch.
Okay, cool. Oh, my boy Aaron said, I think I missed your comment. UNC at one corner when he got hurt. UNC played basic. JSU secondary is loaded, will not play basic. Kenneth says 31-10 FAMU. So again, man, I'm liking all these predictions. I really, really love it. I wish more people would put their predictions. Now, you're making a prediction. Make sure you tune in on Sunday because more than likely I will be doing, a live play-by-play type thing on Sunday. So make sure you come back, put it in the comments because I'm going to have to go back and search on all this other stuff. I ain't even got my phone and pen and pad to write this stuff down. So make sure you come back on Sunday with your predictions. I'm going to try to remember each and every one of you guys' predictions. But we pretty much, dropped and talked about every single thing that can possibly happen. And again, this is all speculation. This is no guarantee. This is why you have shows like this. You have my man DJ Raw Uncut. If you follow him, he has a great following, great channel. He did a show yesterday, really, really great. He talked about his predictions. My man Hope Jargon usually comes on here with me, but he's at work. Labor Day sale. If you need a mattress, he sells mattresses. He works at mattress firm. You need a mattress, holla at him. This is the weekend to do it. Find him on social media. But we do these kind of stuff because we like to give our perspective on things. And like I said, I play collegiate sports, so I kind of know the process of a lot of things. So I'm not just up here rambling about whatever, man. Not being a blowhard, not being the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, man. Like I like to look at things on both sides of the coin, right? I don't have any favorites. The only team I really truly cheer for is the Houston Astros. I'm from Houston. Baseball is the first sport that I played. Basketball was the first sport that I fell in love with. So there you have it with my basketball over baseball thing. But I try to look at these things from both sides of the coin, man. I don't have any favorites. I really like what Jackson State is doing, but I really believe FAMU has a chance in winning this game and winning the SWAC as well. Again, they're getting a lot of their guys back. that's a big encouragement thing for that program, right? You have a chance to get the preseason defensive player of the year. Basically, you saying that you just got Superman back. If you're a FAMU fan on the defensive side of things, you just got Superman back. Superman was in the booth. He's back. He got it. He's taking off his tie. He's ready to rock and roll again. He did not play last week. National TV game, like my man Kev just said, that game is the only game on TV during that time slot. ESPN2. So there are going to be a lot of people at home chilling. It's the day before Labor Day. Great job by the Orange Blossom Classic, understanding what's happening. Get a time slot. Nobody else is playing. Day before a holiday. Everybody's going to be at home chilling, having fun, hanging with friends, in the pool, whatever it may be. You put this game on TV, it guarantees viewership. So shout out to the Orange Blossom Classic, FAMU, Jackson State, Isaiah Land, going back to him, he's going to try to put on the show because I truly believe this kid can play on Sundays and play a lot, right? FAMU just had a kid make the 53 roster for the Cowboys, Marquise Bell. I think I'm saying that correctly. If I'm saying that wrong, you FAMU fans, please correct me. All right, he just made the Cowboys roster, 53-man roster. Hell of an accomplishment. Kid can play, went undrafted, picked up by the Cowboys. So when folks say you can't make it at HBCU, you can't get to the next level, you have guys like Mr. Bell, Mr. James Houston out here proving folks wrong. Warren Newman, my guys out there playing in the Canadian League. No matter what league he's playing in, he's a professional athlete. He's getting paid to play a sport. That is the goal for a lot of young men and women growing up. I want to get paid to do something. I want to get paid to play a damn game, as Chris Paul said. Chris Paul told some younger kids, man, I get paid millions of dollars to play a damn game. Right? So this is a chance for all parties involved to go out there and put on a show. Even the game last year, the game's 7-6 last year, but I was very entertained. I hadn't seen a HBCU game in a while. I used to go to them when I was younger, and when I was in college, playing sports, couldn't get off to do things like that. And as I gotten older, I've tried to get out to more and more events. Sometimes it's hard, but I was very, very entertained by that game last year, and it made me want to do more and more. So I should have did the South Carolina State game last night. If anybody's seen that highlight of that punter, oh my God, kid just I don't know what he was thinking, but neither here nor there. So this is a chance for these two teams to introduce or get new fans, to introduce people to HBCU brand of football, to introduce people to the SWAC brand of football. I'm excited for it. I'm trying to think if I missed anyone. Somebody please let me know in the comments. If you got questions, man, please put it in the comments. I appreciate it. If you want to join the stream, I'm probably going to go another 20 minutes, and we're going to get ready to get out of here, depending on how we, it's rock and roll. If you want to join the stream, just copy and paste that, pull it up. I'll put you in the show, put your questions out there, all those things. So I'm a very, very friendly host, right? It's not an ego thing with me. Kevin Washington says 28-17 JSU. Right? I think, about Kevin's just said that. Mr. Price said that same score. So it's going to be interesting. Like he said, if Jackson State gets out early, and I would say this, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Prime on the coin toss has his guys receive the ball. All right. One, to kind of, see if they can get a kick return, something like that for a touchdown. What a story would that be? All right. Two, let his guys, let his son, QB1, Mr. Shador Sanders, Mr. Gatorade, NIL deal with Gatorade, the NIL deal with Beats, right? Let his kid get out there and show what he can do. Like I said, I think he's been built for this. He's been molded for this moment. He knows that the world is watching. He knows how to go out there and do these things. Like I said, I think he has some showmanship in him as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson State and Coach Prom they choose to receive to try to go out there. So if this game they go out there, 8 plays, 65 yards, in 4 minutes for a touchdown, you talking about momentum. You talking about the crowd going crazy, right? All these other things. But if Isaiah Land can be a disruptive, can be a monster, be the game changer that he's predicted to be, it can be some crazy, crazy things. Shout out to Kendall. Kendall Anderson says 37-10 JSU. So you're predicting the blowout. I've seen, and as I'm looking at these scores for the most part, it's either Jackson State in a blowout, Jackson State in a double-digit win, even though, 10 points, 11 points, I don't consider that a blowout. Or you have FAMU with a close win. So nobody has FAMU with a blowout, right? Nobody has FAMU with a decisive win. If I go back and look at these predictions, see 31-24 FAMU. Who else? Somebody else put one in here. Can't find it. I think they just said FAMU was going to win. So, but I don't see anybody picking FAMU to basically win decisively against these guys. I'm not going to try to pronounce your names, my guy. I'll butcher it. But you say Isaiah Land was a non-factor in big games. Yeah, but maybe with him having to sit out last week against UNC, which in 0 week, which was stupid. What the hell is 0 week? That's just like the zero dribble in basketball. I hate it. Don't even get me started on that. How can you have a 0 step? They call it 0 step. All right? I hate it. Sean, okay, gotcha, Sean. Maybe him sitting out last week against UNC, it kind of changes your perspective, right? It makes you a little hungry, right? Because in his mind, he probably thought like, man, I might be ineligible for the rest of my career in college. I'm sure he was probably still working out hard, all these other things, trying to participate in practice and all these other things. But it's not the same when you know you're not going to play, man. When you know you're just there for practice, it's not the same. So when he probably got that call today, he probably jumped about 10 feet high. I'm over exaggerating. But him not playing last week probably put a fire under him. And again, this is a big, big game. And if you want to be considered a big-time player, as one of my mentors would say, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. There's no such thing as having a bad game in a big-time game, if that makes sense. Last OBC, he let Tony Gray mute him. I expect him to at least make a play, but I think he's overrated. Nothing wrong with that. But like I said, if he wants to consider himself, so he has to – you're not the only person out there that probably thinks he's overrated. So he has to ask himself, right? He has to look inside himself. If he wants to be considered this type of dude where he's the preseason favorite, preseason all-conference guy to win Defensive Player of the Year, you have to make more than one play in this game. You have to make more than one play in this game. This is the game to make multiple plays and stand out. You have to look like the best player on the field if you want people to stop thinking that you're overrated. You have to look like the best player. Not just on defense, not on special teams, not on every part. He has to look like the best player on the field if he wants people to consider him being a player to play on Sundays. He says, agree. Appreciate it. I know a little bit about this stuff, man. I'm very objective, man. I don't play favorites, all these things. I like to just bring a different type of brand to these sports shows, these sports talk shows, this YouTube game. And again, man, I get lazy sometimes. I hate the way my voice sounds. So a lot of times I never even want to get on here and do these things, man, because I go back and listen to it. Like, good Lord, man. But there are some folks out here who like to hear me talk for some strange reason, man. And for folks who don't know, probably about 2 weeks ago, this channel reached over 1 million views on YouTube. Right? We don't have the subscribers like that or whatever it may be, but we reached over 1 million views, and I started taking this seriously June 2021. So this channel has come a long, long way, and it's because folks out there apparently like to hear my voice and hear me blabber and all these other things. So I appreciate all that, man. But again, I am ready for this game on Sunday. I am ready for the season. I'm excited about all the storylines that are happening. Alabama State, y'all seen that craziness that they had with Howard. Alabama A&M played last night. I didn't get a chance to check that out. I think Bethune-Cookman plays this weekend or plays tonight. PV, Texas Southern, Labor Day Classic, that's tomorrow. So y'all make sure y'all come back to this channel. We're going to do that game tomorrow, man. We're going to do that game live, play-by-play reaction. Come in here, talk your crap. Even if you're not a PV JSU fan, come support the other HBCUs and just talk crap in the comments, whatever it may be. Coach Dooley is at Southern. Bubba McDowell at PV. Can Andrew Body at TSU take his guys to the next level? Can Grambling State with Hugh Jackson get back to where they need to be? It's so many storylines in this SWAC season, man. You have to be excited, man. Y'all put a thumbs up, 100 in the comments, whatever. You have to be excited if you're a football fan, SWAC fan, HBCU fan. It's so much excitement is happening around this movement, and it doesn't. If the fans are not excited, if they're not supporting it, right, you have to continue to kind of grind this thing out. Ezekiel Love says FAMU has so much talent. They only lost last year by 1 point. If that field goal is not blocked, they win. If McKay doesn't miss a wide open Smith over the middle, he still be running. So FAMU wins. So, and sports and life, there's a lot of ifs, right? A lot of ifs. If Jackson State's offensive line could have did something last year, that game wouldn't have been close, right? There's a lot of ifs in sports, man. And that game was very, very good. Even though it was low scoring, if the weather wasn't bad, it might have been a more offensively structured game. But the weather was bad. So there's a lot of ifs when it comes to sport, man. But you're right. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna doubt you for that or wrong you for that. You're absolutely right. But sports is just ifs, man. Kendall says, I'm curious to see what JSU's new offense looks like against FAMU's defense. Jackson State, new offensive coordinator, new offensive lineman. I don't know if Santee Marshall is still there to running back. I don't think he is. Jackson State, wide receivers. I mean, they don't have enough positions out there for everyone. Kevin Coleman, Malachi Wyman, Quadarius Davis, Mr. Rucker. Did I say Kevin Coleman already? Travis Hunter, who's going to get him some time at the wide receiver position. Can the offensive line hold up and allow QB1 to go out there and make plays? That's again, this is a speculation show. This is why it's called preview. None of this is guaranteed. I'm seeing, multiple scores as I continue to see this. Did you say your name was Sean? Okay, Sean. Sean says it's going to be 38-13. JSU people have overhyped Musa and FAMU. So again, I'm either seeing blowout. By Jackson State or a close win by FAMU. So anybody that's a betting person, man, y'all go to Vegas, y'all go to the ESPN website and see the over/under of that score, things of that nature. Let's see. Sean says, hold on. What about JSU not turning it over in the red zone? Again, so exactly, man. There's a lot of ifs when you go into sports. JSU move the ball all day on FAMU. Jackson State's offense didn't catch up. They never caught up with the defense. The defense was playing at a high level from the very first game of the season. And it wasn't even a doubt in my mind how good they were going to be throughout the whole year. From the very, very first snap, that defense was unbelievable. Man, they finished top 5 in the nation. At FCS level, they finished top 5. So, that's not a fluke what that defense was doing. And the offense literally never caught up with them, even though that they had the blowout game against Alabama A&M where they put up over 50 points, right? But overall for the season, the offense of Jackson State, Shedeur, my guy Warren Newman, Santee Marshall, all these guys, Malachi Wyman, Keith Corbin III. Hey, I couldn't think of it. Finally thought Keith Corbin III. All these guys, offensively, they never caught up with Jackson State's defense. And it's just, it is what it is. And Bobby D says Jackson State team depth and the eligibilities of FAMU are going to be excuses if FAMU loses this game. Watch, everybody makes excuses, right? And again, they got a lot of guys back, so it's not the same. And I'm thinking that it's not going to be enough. They didn't get them back in time because as a coach, I've said this earlier in the stream, you have to prepare with the guys you know who are going to play. Just like having a red shirt. You can have a very, very talented red shirt. He's making great plays in practice and all these other things. But you can't be on the field as much as the guys are going to play. And if I remember correctly, been a while since I've been in college. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. If you are an ineligible player, you can't even practice. So a lot of that I said earlier might not even be true about Isaiah Land getting some reps in and all these other guys. If you are an ineligible player, I don't even think you can practice. So you might, it might not be enough. They might have got him back too late. Sean says they're really going to have to move the ball. Yep. They have the MEAC best running back from last year. He's the guy. Got you. I believe Marshall is still there. Yeah, I think he's there. I can't remember. He had some pretty decent runs last year. But, again, offensive line has to show up. Ashford Wilson says, remember JSU had a spring game and also played 4 games, but only beat FAMU by 1 point. FAMU didn't even play that year. I get all of that. Football is a very, very tricky sport, and this is why they say any given Sunday, any given Saturday, and for college football, now you got Thursday night games. So any given weekend in college football, it's a different feel, right? There's a lot of ifs and a lot of stuff, man. Like, it's a tricky sport because again, one bad play, one missed tackle, one player getting hurt, anything of that nature can change the whole dynamic of a game, man. Right? If anybody that's an Alabama fan, man, I'm kind of an Alabama fan. I just like saying roll tide. The year where one of their quarterbacks got hurt, they didn't win it all. And then a lot of people say, well, if they had such and such, they did this. It happens, man. It happens. And so, for the most part in football, you have to let the game play out, man, for the most part. For the most part. JSU is too talented, more explosive. I think it's going to be JSU scoring their opportunities against FAMU. Go watch the game. Yeah, man, that game, anybody could have won that game last year. And again, it was still entertaining. So there's no quarrels with me. I guess no one watched FAMU against North Carolina game. I saw a little bit of the game. Like Kevin said earlier, and I think my man Aaron Sanders said, UNC didn't play a very complicated scheme against FAMU. It was very basic. It wasn't very, thought of, man. They just kind of looked like they won by 32 points. Yeah, this and that. They knew that some guys were going to be out. But this is it. You're opening the weekend. Basically, you're opening up your season with a conference game. Again, last year, if FAMU wins that game last year, they more than likely probably win the SWAC. Unfortunately for FAMU fans, Jackson State won that game. And a nail biter, 7-6. A damn field goal wins it. A safety wins it. Jackson State goes on, have an undefeated season in the SWAC. They win. It's a whole different type of pressure. And the quarterback for FAMU transferred from Vanderbilt, I believe. And if I'm wrong, y'all put it in the comments. Excuse me. He had a pretty good game against UNC. Different type of pressure coming up, man. You have nothing to lose when you go and play. If you played in college sports, when you go play in those guaranteed games, most times you're a little more relaxed, man. You're a little more chill because you're going in there with nothing to lose and everything to gain. So that kid, he had a pretty good game. This game right here, FAMU versus Jackson State, first game of the SWAC, ESPN2, world is watching. It can be different. So I'm liking the confidence that the FAMU fans are having. I'm liking the confidence that Jackson State fans are having. Practice not play. Yeah, okay, yeah. That might be right. UNC was playing pedestrian-based defense, no pressure. Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't. They walked into 50 points. Ezekiel Love says, I don't see why JSU fans don't realize how talented FAMU is. Man, they realize it, man. But when you're such a fan, and Jackson State fans, they've always supported their team like crazy anyways. But literally, man, Coach Prime has done such a good job in what he's drilling into that program, what he is drilling into that campus, what he is drilling into those fans. They believe that they are far more superior than anybody that they face, and I'm not mad at it. It's a subtle confidence that Jackson State has. It's not cockiness. It's a subtle confidence that they're having. Excuse me, something got in my eye. It's a subtle confidence that they're having. I'm with it, but FAMU is very, very talented as well, man. Very talented as well. So Ezekiel, don't let that kind of stuff bother you, man. They just fans being fans. Some of them are extreme fanatics, man, and that's the best thing about college sports. It's the fans, the pageantry, the magicalness of a Saturday night game, man. Yeah, it's 31-14 FAMU. I got you. So make sure you come back on Sunday. Yeah, closest person to the score gets a T-shirt, man. Gets a T-shirt. I make. You can support the brand. It's my way of showing love, and it's my way of kind of getting the brand out, man. Who doesn't like a free T-shirt? So, um, he was relaxed against a Power 5 school. Period. Yeah, man. We shall see. Different type of pressure coming up this weekend. Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State in 2 years. Watch. And if he does, maybe his time is just up. All right. Coaches leave all the time, and then now you have players leaving all the time. So, but coaches have been leaving programs for years, man. Coaches make promises all the time. It's part of being a collegiate coach, man. You're honestly, how can I put it? You're being an honest liar to students, potential students, man. Oh yeah, man, I can see you being this and that. You could be a all conference player, this and that. Yeah. They want you on campus, man. They're making a pitch. They're a salesman. It's been a salesman. That's bottom line. And then coaches say, "Oh man, I'm staying here forever." This and that. You see it all the time. I'm never leaving. But sometimes it's just your time is up. Your time is up. Whether it be money, whether it be family issues, whether it be health issues, or you're a believer in God and God is telling you to move somewhere else, your time is up. It just happens, man. I don't know. 2 years is about right. A lot of folks are saying that 2 years. As long as Shedeur is there, he'll be there. His daughter is there now, so you never know. You never know with this thing, man. So I'm not. I do a lot of Jackson State stuff, but folks who are new to here, man, I do a lot of Jackson State stuff. But if he does leave, it's not going to stop me from doing what I like to do, man. I like to talk about this kind of stuff, man. I like to give insight. He's Coach Prime and others, and Coach Eddie George and Hugh Jackson. Now, all these guys have started a movement, and hopefully that it continues to move forward. Coach Willie Simmons at FAMU, Coach Dooley, like all these guys are playing a very, very important role into what's happening into HBCU sports. Very, very important role. So, man, Ezekiel Love says FAMU QB also won a JUCO championship. So, it's like I said, time to put up or shut up. Big time players make big time plays in big time games. There's no such thing as a bad game. No such thing as a bad game in the game, right? So a lot harder in football because every weekend that game counts. Every single weekend that game counts, man. But man, y'all make sure y'all like to hit that like button. If you're on Facebook, you can even heart it. If you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to this channel, please do. Hit that bell button to get notifications. This has been a great, great topic. You really, really like what we do, hit the Cash App. Cash App is at the bottom, scrolling right there at the bottom. I can't see my finger. Right there at the bottom, somewhere in there. All right. It says Between the Games Sports. Each first letter, each word is capitalized. So if you like what we do, man, please hit the Cash App. Everything goes back to the channel. We got the green screen, which is right now the Hard Rock Stadium down there in Florida. We got the lights in here and all this other stuff. We got the camera rocking and rolling. So all this stuff, y'all have helped. That those who patronize this channel, y'all help with everything, man. So yeah, man, it's Friday. I'm glad I got to do this. We will be back on Sunday. For those who made predictions, y'all make sure y'all come back Sunday. The game is 2:00 Eastern. I'm sorry, Central Time. So 3:00 Eastern Time, I believe. So 2:00. We're going to be rocking and rolling. I might do a pregame show morning of. Who knows? But tomorrow we're going to do the Texas Southern Prairie View game. That game is at 6:00 Central Time, I believe. So we're going to do that game tomorrow. But, man, I really appreciate everyone who came through on your Friday night. It's been great. It's been fun. It's been real fun. All those good things. If you got anything you want to put in the comments before we get out of here, please do so. Again, make sure you like this channel. Subscribe to this channel. We do good stuff, man. We don't give y'all any BS. All right? We are very, very we can talk about both sides of things, man. We don't have any favorites, all those other things, man. So I'm not here to criticize anybody who's trying to make better for HBCU, SWAC sports, OVCs, all these things, man. So I'm not here to get into any of that kind of thing. I don't have any gripes, any beefs with anyone. But y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, man, on the way out of here, man. And if you follow this stream, I've always leave y'all with some words of wisdom. If you're new to this is one of my favorite sayings. I got it from my dad. I kind of revamped it, put my own thing to it. So I enjoyed it. On your best day, be better. Think about it, man. Between the Game Sports, I'm out. Peace.